We're down to the 10 finalists in the Genesis 1 creature vote. Let's go over all of them, and maybe you can decide what you want as your number one. It's Hopp, and it's time to look at the creatures. Yes, the community creature vote is on, and there are now 10 finalists. Which of these 10 will strike your fancy for you to be able to vote? We're going to talk about each one. I'm going to show you the dossiers and kind of read through them. And then I'm also going to kind of point out where it is you have to go in order to submit your vote. This is my contribution to helping everybody figure out exactly which way they want to vote so we get the creature we want come Genesis 1. Now, the creatures themselves, it's going to be focused on Genesis Part 1. They had to be a real creature. And this first round of voting goes all the way until November the 7th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific, which is 4 Eastern, and I believe 9 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. Now, keep in mind, we in the U.S. have that wonderful thing where we fall back an hour. So I'm not sure exactly where that'll fall past Eastern time zone and all that because of the time change. But the idea is you're going to go and you're going to rank these creatures. And here are the finalists. And we're going to go through each and every single one of them. And hopefully I can do them some bit of justice. The first one we're going to look at is the Palaeoctopus. Now, this is one that was actually submitted for aberration, I believe. But anyway, this is a cephalopod that is megatherium sized. You're going to find it in the bog and maybe rarely in the oceans of Genesis. And here's what it says as far as its abilities and whatnot. A curious and crafty creature, the unique properties of ink allow it to make special potions. So the whole idea is this is a potion maker. It's against the elements for any foe. For example, if you want to get rid of the horde of direwolves, throw down a space brew potion and make a mini black hole to trap them in one place. Now, that would actually be interesting for whether or not we might be able to use it for taming and whatnot. That'd be pretty interesting. Also, the scuba gear can be replaced by an ocean potion for a deeper dive. There's a whole lot of things that are going on. They are a mobile apothecary, which basically is 11 total potions that benefit, 5 for the allies, 5 for offense against enemies, and 1 that's a special brew. The Palaeoctopus are able to camouflage it to their surroundings, so they've got a chameleon style idea to it. There's coding using the same ink used for potions. It can code itself to give its attacks affixes that relate to the biome it's in. So volcano ink will make it attack for fire damage, for instance. It's kind of like a fire wyvern. So obviously some OP stuff there. With 8 strong arms, it's no surprise that the Palaeoctopus would hold and grab creatures similar to a Megalosaurus, and it can be used to transport allies or throw them, or even suffocate your enemies by draining their oxygen. Again, a very OP idea, especially for PvP ideas. And with the 8 arms, it can climb as well. There's some more in depth about some of the other potions in depth about jars and crafting beneficial potions. There's also a beneficial branch of bog brew and volcano brew that talks a little bit about the biome you're in and the attack that you can use. And then, of course, the continuous defecation. It drains their stamina for against their enemies. Also, the abyssal rage in the ocean that will blind them and cause them to attack anything around them. That would be interesting in an ocean cave. The eternal frost is like freezing your enemies in the snow biome and things like that. So really interesting different ideas there. That's the first one. That is the Palaeoctopus. The second one, the Irritator. The Irritator. This one's interesting. A tamer's best friend. It says, Irritator seems to have adapted very well to many environments with enough humidity. So far as it has been spotted in all parts of the bog, black lakes of the volcano, the underwater cubes deep in the ocean, and even some lunar caves. Being quite small in the world of giants and preferring to be left alone to its fishing, Irritator generally won't attack unless you get too close. I find that interesting that its name is Irritator, but it's not aggressive unless you get too close. Despite the abundance of much bigger and dangerous threats, none dare approach the Irritator. This is due to a special mucus covering its entire body, causing skin irritation and weakening to the immune system to anyone hit. Snot covered. Interesting. Domesticated. Once tamed, Irritator becomes a valuable asset, serving as both an excellent traveling mount and a taming companion armed with its mucus. Even the sturdiest of foes will eventually succumb to torpor. Irritator can open its jaw wide enough to swallow larger fish whole, giving it a regenerative boost. So it gets a regenerative boost, kind of like an Argy does. Let's see. Its Baryonyx's slightly shorter and weaker Brazilian cousin. Its design revolves around weakening opponents to torpor. Its special mucus afflicting you an irritating effect. This ability makes it very useful companion when it comes to knocking out X variants of dinos or sturdier foes. You'll have to watch out though, because if you do get hit by an Irritator, everything else around you becomes much more dangerous. The same mucus can be crafted into an anti-irritant that reduces the potency of status effects when applied to an ally. In addition to that, it can be designed to be a very comfortable and speedy traveling mount both on land and water that has reduced aggro range, making it perfect for exploring in the early game. Its saddle allows you to freely look behind you when holding a weapon, making it easier to shoot at your targets no matter where you're facing. It can also eat fish whole to regenerate health fast, so you can go right back to exploring or store them indefinitely in fish baskets. This means like it could actually help you tame shadow manes whenever we get to Genesis 2. That'd be interesting. You see the size of it there? It is basically somewhere between the size of a Baryonyx and a raptor. It's more the size of a Baryonyx, but obviously a lot smaller than the Spino. So that is the Irritator. The next one, the Abyssosaurus. And just from the view right now, it looks like a much nastier Plesiosaurus. Okay. In the wild, during a deep sea expedition, I saw what can only be explained as an SOS light pattern, but before I could do anything, my body started moving toward it. I was trapped in my body, all light around me disappeared, leaving my eyes helplessly staring into the darkness. Something was staring right back. The Abyssosaurus with its mouth open, waiting to take a chunk out of me when close enough. Finally managing to snap out of the trance, gave me enough time to quickly swim away, looking back just to see the creature lurk back into the darkness before completely disappearing. Now, taming an Abyssosaurus is tricky due to an extreme danger they pose, plus their body is very dense and hard to penetrate due to the constant pressure of living in the deep. When ready, make sure to have plenty of plankton and some flashbangs. Having an Abyssosaurus on your side makes ocean traversal a breeze with its incredible speed and abilities. Nothing stands a chance. After some thinking, there could be something bigger and deeper beneath the waves, waiting for some poor unexpecting survivor to get close. And the size that it shows, I mean, honestly, the size difference there makes it look like it could be twice or three times the size of a plesiosaur. It's pretty big, really big. The attributes: bioluminescence along the body, kind of like an anglerfish. Interesting. As you're about to be hypnotized, throw a sea flashbang to stun it. This gives you enough time to feed it plankton. So that's how you tame it. That'll be interesting. Unique drops: an Abyssosaurus head, a rare drop that is a 1 in 6 chance of dropping when you kill one. Wow. Can be placed on a trophy wall or deco box. Interesting. So as you can see, the size differences, that's not bad. It has a weight reduction. Water, all resources, items, and structures have weight reduced by 65%. See a dissipated light, which means when you're hypnotized, you don't see as well. Dense skin, of course, they talked about that. Deep sea power, you move quickly, and it damage is increased by 25. Stamina, the health regen increased by 20. It is shark and Zactophinctus proof. It deals 45% more damage to any Megalodon or Zactophinctus. Plus, both go out of their way to avoid the Abyssosaurus out of their fear they'll become its next meal. Hey, the spicy tuna has a backup. It has a gentle breeze, natural spawning whirlpool debuffs, and will gain 25% movement when going past one or into one. A plesio synergy. When the Abyssosaurus is nearby any plesiosaur, they gain 15% damage and 25% movement speed and attack speed. But it only affects tamed ones. Interesting. It's got a head whip. It's land and space capabilities. The saddle will unlock at level 69. It's not, I mean, it looks like it's an interesting mount for both the lunar biome and the water areas. So that's the Abyssosaurus. Next, the Crinoid. The Crinoid, now this doesn't have a dossier style of picture here, but it shows the different things of it. It's a quantum levitating echinoderm. So let's see. Crinoids evolved to utilize bizarre ability, thought only to exist as theoretical suggestion. Living in the lunar biome, these echinoderms achieve a form of quantum levitation in which appears as zero gravity propulsion. It's believed that the organelles present within the main body of the crinoid function as an intense magnetic field generator. Interesting. Forms of flux planning or quantum levitation. The result causes the organism to suspend indefinitely at a set altitude. I wonder if you can change that and it goes up and down. Who knows? The fronds of the crinoid assist in the maneuverability of the echinoderm while moving through the air. Though despite well suited within the lunar biome, the crinoid is capable of using this outside that terrain with much strain. So odds are it's going to drain the stamina a lot, but you'd be able to take it to other biomes to use it. Photon beams, when running or hiding no longer works in one's favor, often resort to the offensive. The crinoid possesses a devastating ability to retaliate. Much like a plant, the fronds of the crinoid have evolved to become photosynthetic in nature, soaking sunlight as well as solar plasma as an alternative to obtaining energy whenever the ambergris becomes scarce. However, this creature faces danger that is knowingly seldom to win. The crinoid is able to expel this potential energy in the form of photon beams. Okay. Barometric protection. Much like an umbrella, the crinoid utilizes a form of protection against atmospheric pressure as well as debuffs caused by the weather conditions, particularly harsh sunlight or heavy downpours and snowfall, increasing hyperthermia and hypothermal insulation caused by the fluxes by 84, so long as the crinoid displays for shielding its survivor. And it's also got an ambergris filter. Crinoids filter feeders by nature, where they use their fronds to accumulate solar plasma, as well as the microorganisms that float around the lunar biome. Their preferred source of food and fuel is ambergris, which drifts through the air as fine particles. Passively, the crinoid accumulates and creates ambergris clumps, in which can be used to raise infant magmasaurs. Man, I missed the magmasaur. As well as the fuel for the Astrocetus' bomb attack. In addition, the crinoid acts as superior preservative containment for 9 hours and 20 minutes. So that is the crinoid. The next one, the Atopodentatus. Wow, I'm just going to call it the Atopo. That's what the creator does it. The Atopo. I like the art on that one. Okay, so it's basic dossier. In the wild, the Atopo has the most variable diet of any herbivore I have ever observed. They will brave anything from frigid cliffs to lava flows to megalodon-infested waters to search for food. While native to the reefs, sightings suggest these creatures have escaped the marine habit and proliferated into other zones of the Genesis simulation. Their affinity for snacking seems to have driven them to wherever the best snacks are. If those snacks are in the hands of survivors, they're quite content to do whatever they need. That's good. Domesticated Atopo can release a salty, mineral-rich fluid from their nostrils similar to the salt glands found in modern-day iguanas. The chemistry of the fluid is a magnet for beneficial microbial organisms, which promote rapid healing as well as neutralize the scent of blood, making those affected harder for predators to detect. Interesting. Various tribes have mentioned a myriad of other benefits based on the biome. Further observations may be required. Regardless, this ability makes them highly coveted mounts by tribes across the simulation. What is it with snot? That's the second one that's got snot abilities. Okay, it's got a tail whip ability. It knocks back enemies with its knockback. It's got a hammerhead charge that seems to stun enemies. It's also got a burst strafe that does some things there. That's pretty good. As far as the Atopo Biome Sanctuary, it's got healing. It debuffs over time. They've got a whole bunch of different debuffs that it takes care of. Okay, on land, the Atopo's AoE function, a percentage of food is consumed to create a range splash projectile. Underwater, it consumes food over time, causing the AoE to diffuse in the water to create a pulsating bioluminescent AoE centered on the Atopo. So kind of like a Daedon. Interesting. It's immune to the Synhydrias. Those are the jellyfish, and the Electrophorus stun. So it looks like it's one that you cannot get stunned off of. It's got a saline shroud. That saline goo, the snot, as I like to call it, by itself can be used like preserving salt. So that's interesting. So, and of course, they got a whole bunch of different ideas of how to do it. It looks like it has snacks that they want and different saddles. So that is the Atopodentatus. Okay, the Rhomaleo. It's the Rhomaleosaurus. It's the called the tidal torpedo. So there's the dossier. And this says, in the wild, there's no animal more specialized for the oceans than the Rhomaleus. Being playful and inquisitive in nature, Rhomaleus are generally friendly to anything smaller than themselves. So unless you're a small fish, these reptiles will be neutral to you. Interestingly enough, Rhomaleos will utilize the abundant whirlpools to their advantage. These reptiles seem to enjoy riding the currents of whirlpools and launching themselves out at high speed. They can create temporal whirlpools to encapsulate prey and predators alike. I just keep seeing that commercial with the pig holding the thing out. Wee, wee. I didn't see him going on. Anyway, domesticated. To gain the trust of a Rhomaleo, one must first spoil it with the finest meat and then proceed to hitch a ride on its back. Only if a Rhomaleo deems you fit will it allow you to continue riding it. When tamed, I'm guessing it probably attacks you if it kicks you off. Rhomaleo packs serve as devastating offensive mounts, so they get a pack buff should the conditions suit them. It seems the adrenaline rush from riding in its whirlpool allows Rhomaleos to hit even harder than the normal tool. Let's see, the tide surfing. Before launching themselves out, the buildup for these whirlpools allows Rhomaleos to dish out powerful blows. If there's no whirlpools in the vicinity, they are able to generate their own. Looks like it's got a saddle, a normal saddle, but looks like there's like almost like a jetpack on the back. But it has 2 oxygen tanks as well. So it says it ignores weight. The saddle has a pair of cool handlebars to stay on the saddle better. Riders can also expend oxygen from the saddle to initiate assisted swimming, which ignores the weight. So this looks like it's, all the pictures make it seem like it's not massive comparatively. It doesn't look like it does. These tidal wave pictures are really cool looking. That's awesome. It doesn't look like it's massive, but yet, it's still got to be big enough to be, considered dangerous. So I would say it's probably the size of a Meg, give or take, which that's not bad. That's the Rhomaleosaurus. Now we have the Saivodus, the man-eater. Now this looks like a Meg on steroids, just from the picture. This looks like a Meg on steroids. Let's see. It's remarkable species patrolling the Ark's oceans, always looking for its next meal. is adapted to the harsh biodiversity by adopting an opportunistic feeding routine. They lunge toward their prey, brutally maiming them with incredible jaws aligned with natural razors? Ooh, my. Much like the mainland's hyenodon, this large shark seeks out weakened prey rather than wasting energy on hunting it down. Despite the ocean's hostilities, the spines seem to deter even the boldest of hunters. Interestingly, its messy eating habits and spines shelter schools of fish, forming a symbiotic bond with flying fish. The school of fish keep Saivodus striatus healthy and assist in hunting. Interesting. Saivodus is not aggressive until provoked or has deemed you a quick and easy food source. So what it looks like is it's sort of like a Abyssosaurus with the mantas, except there's a lot more of them. They're a lot smaller and they're a lot nastier if they deem you a threat. Domesticated. Many coastal tribes have sought to instigate a feeding frenzy in hope of befriending this hungry fish. Saivodus is sought after for its hunting habits and feeding frenzies, directing the sheltered schools of fish to aid allies or debilitating foes. Massive jaws lined with rows of natural razors allow it to tear into prey, violently thrashing its head, tainting the water with the victim's blood expelled from its elegant gills. Ooh. These bloodbaths increase the aggression of not only the Saivodus, but the aquatic life, all of it. The phenomenon that war parties have used devastatingly effective. So, odds are the thrash attack, wow, and it just makes it worse. Like all those the little fish. You know, if there's something that could actually suddenly turn the coelacanths and the salmon and all those that are already in the water, suddenly make them dangerous, I think it'd be hilarious if suddenly the coelacanths get affected and turn into, like, borderline piranha style. That'd be kind of crazy. There's a gill empowerment buff. That's where the blood comes out of the gills because of a thrashing. You do it with chum. Huh. It's like you tame it like a carca. Wow. So that's interesting. And the swarmfish are tiny and they're very small. Oh my goodness! Look at the way they would swarm around it. That's interesting, and it has a turret mode. I wonder if you could like direct them in the middle of a frenzy. That is Saivodus, the man-eater. Next we have Tullimonstrum, the lunar magnetic scout. All right, so the Tullimonstrum. Let's see. What does it say? In the wild, the Tullimonstrum is a bizarre creature found strangely levitating around the simulation's lunar biome, inhabiting near the huge gas vents, waiting to prey, walk into it, and suffocate them so they can pick them out with the trunk. It seems to me the lunar biome brings the earth creatures back into life, always with a twist. For example, it seems the Tullimonstrum has learned how to use gravitational forces to pull itself forward towards prey and to throw small creatures around. And domesticated, I've heard tribes being able to get their own Tullimonstrums through luring them into a vulnerable position by leaving some ambergris around and then riding them whenever possible. They say after riding them and trying not to fall off, they eventually calm down and subdue. Taming mechanism seems like it's going to be like an equus. This creature works miracles as support mount, being great scout while being different from the other creepy critters that cover this role in the simulation. So you're going to be able to drag things. You're going to be able to grab things, gas vents. It's even got a housekeeping ability. Setting an option, its radial wheel starts using magnetism to attract dropped items toward it. That's interesting in the lunar biome, so that'll be fun. PvP design and uses, the creature would serve a scout role that's also filled by the Bloodstalker. That's the reason why this one fills a different side of the scout role, because it would be in the lunar biome. So that makes sense. And then for the PvE, it is lunar biome roots for how empty the biome feels tame-wise. Only the Astrocetus, which is a tame only useful for PvP with a nightmare taming process. So this is kind of to give PvE players a reason to go in and tame something in the lunar biome. So that's the Tullimonstrum. And an old friend is back, the giant stick bug. I love this picture. The giant stick bug tells you how big it is compared to a regular carno. And what I love is it's got the big giant beehive on its end down there on the tail. I love that. I liked this the last time it was put out. I thought it was something wildly different. So most of you already know about this. But let's read what the dossier says. As I wandered through the forest, I got the impression some logs were moving. I checked around, noticed anything strange except for a log without leaves. As I approached, I picked up what appeared to be bark, but was actually woody chitin. From there, I realized it was a giant stick bug. A gigantic size has not prevented it from perfecting its camouflage, so much so that it's managed to become virtually indistinguishable from a tree to the prying eyes of the enemy, even with the aid of spyglass. Oh, so the spyglass would not see it. That's interesting. I don't remember that. Domesticated, to bring it out into the open, you have to throw honey at it several times. It's important not to be seen. Otherwise, it'll avoid approaching. Once it's busy enjoying the honey, you have to approach it and give it sap, its favorite food. Unlike many other insects, does that mean it eats itself? Because sap comes from... Anyway, let's see. This woody arthropod, being able to climb any surface, float on the water, is used for safe exploration. It's like its own raft. So it can climb. It mimics. It can in the different biomes and different things. It has different colors. It's a hive collector and transporter. So if you get a domesticated queen bee, you can actually attach it and take it from one side to the other. Living canoe, tree of life. Due to its resemblance to trees, giant stick bugs can not only house bees, but it also houses an Archaeopteryx, which can sit on top of its 6 legs when it is in natural state, then moving to the top as a perch when it camouflages itself. This increases the production of the hemolymph. In turn, the giant stick bug receives the tree of life buff, releasing a pheromone that heals nearby insects and increases crop yields. Interesting. So the giant stink bug is back in one of them up there. Another one I think I've seen before. The next one, the giant lobster. And it looks pretty big. Just the pictures in the dossier show that it is not much smaller and can have no problem going 1v1 versus a megalodon. So that's interesting. Let's read the dossier. Just when I thought Ark's oceans were terrifying enough, I came across this oversized lobster I'm calling Pimphix gigantastration station. It's a giant lobster. The giant crustacean has 2 unique claws, one for grabbing its prey and a much sharper one for stabbing. When it isn't walking on the ocean floor, it can be seen occasionally hiding in the sands of the beaches with only their antennas sticking out. Oh, it's got a Perlovia type of thing to it. Yikes! Survivors must not approach a buried lobster unless they plan to tame one. Domesticated. If you manage to tame a giant lobster, you'll find this megalodon-sized crustacean has some incredible utility inside and outside of combat. The giant lobster acts as your underwater Daedon, able to heal allies both on land and water. It can even latch itself onto an allied creature, healing at a faster rate and making its ally invulnerable to damage. It also has incredible mobility, being able to walk the ocean floor, swim, walk on land, or even climb surfaces with the help of its powerful claws. So the healing thing is massive. I mean, if it can latch on and heal. And lobster meat. They use a real picture of lobster. That's funny. Harvesting a giant lobster provides lobster meat, which acts as a form of mutton or algae for fish taming. Cooking it makes grilled lobster, which is a handy food item. It also heals a player a lot more than normal food or medical brews. Unique appearances and biomes, so different colors and different biomes throughout the Genesis simulation. That's interesting, where the colors are based on the biome and not just randomly generated mutation colors. That'd be interesting. The rare variant would be the blue lobster. The rare, and there's a picture of a blue lobster. Oh, that's funny. But the rare would be the blue lobster that have different variants. That's interesting enough as it is. Why vote for the lobster? There's only 2 crustaceans, the Euryptid and the Carcinus, and only one of them being tameable. Okay, I understand why. I really do. And that's interesting. Those are your options. Those are the 10 options. Now, here's the thing. You cannot vote directly through survivetheark.com. There is a link, and let me take you there real quick. So you have to go to a place called rankedvote.com, okay? And you have to have a membership. If you are not a part of that site or have not signed up for that site, you're not going to be allowed to vote. Now, you can vote more than one, and all you have to do is move these around. This is just, regular order. I don't know. I've already voted at least once, and I'm just saying you move them around, and everything is tallied based on where they are in your vote whenever you move them around, okay? And when you move them around, you just hit submit, boom, you submit them. That's going to submit your vote. But if you are not a member of Ranked Vote, okay, if you're not a member of Ranked Vote, you will not be able to vote. So that's the one catch. And it is not the same login information. It is separate from survivetheark.com. So you have to be able to log in there to be able to have your vote counted. Votes will be taken until the 7th of November. And happy voting. If this helped you out in any way, I really do hope you'll hit that like button. Comment what your favorite one was. Maybe what one you're going to vote at the top or what that you hope wins. And let me know in the comments what you think about all these different creatures that have been submitted. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Until next time, this is Hopp. Take care of each other and keep on surviving.